All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? Welcome to Voices of Agora, a Paragon podcast. This is episode 10. Today's date is the 7th of June, 2016. We are about to jump into episode 10. I can't believe we've been doing this for 10 episodes now of this podcast. But guys, I'm not alone. I'm another notch, and I'm not alone. As always, I'm joined today by my very talented co-host, Mr. Shane Lynch. Shane Lynch,
Hello.
how are you, sir?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see everyone. How are you?
Can I ask what that creepy thing was that you just did for those not watching?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. You like laid flat and then sat up
It's
very
a
weird.
little pre-show yoga.
Pre-show.
For those listening on the audio, you can go to youtube.com/another notch to get the visual experience as well. And for those of you listening on the audio version, thank you for your support. You guys are amazing. For those of you joining us live, hello. How are you doing? Thank you. You guys are going to be trickling in here. Thank you all for your continuing support for the Voices of Agora. We made it, man. 10 episodes.
10 episodes, dude.
10
I
episodes.
feel like we've had really good growth in the past couple of episodes. We won't give exact numbers, but our numbers for a new podcast, a game podcast for a game that's not even being really promoted by Epic, our numbers have been really good. There's more we could do on our end, but the fact that people are listening is wonderful. We've gotten some really positive feedback. I've gotten some feedback that it's stuff we'll be working on and things that need to be changed. So that's the thing that's happening. But it's been a fun 10 episodes. I feel like we're a good start. And here's to many more.
This is just the beginning, guys. This is
It
just
really
the
is.
beginning. We have a lot in store, not only for the podcast, but the other content that we're involved with as well.
New website.
We were hoping to be able to talk about something that we want to be able to talk about for a while, but it's not official yet.
Nope.
So that'll be for episode 11.
Hopefully. It should be. But
It
we've got the new episode. We've got the new website, voicesofagora.com. We've had some amazing people
guys.
helping us with that, putting out some great content there. We've been trying to get stuff over on YouTube, but I've been having an issue with the Twitch export and highlight system. A couple people have. So I'm trying to get that figured out. So as soon as you get that figured out, those of you that watch this on YouTube as well, soon we'll have that stuff exported over. Thank you guys for hanging out. So we're going to jump right into this very, very slow news week for Paragon. We were expecting a blog post. I was expecting a blog post about possible card experience changes because we haven't got those yet, and we got very soon. And very soon has been going on almost 2 weeks now. So hopefully this week we get some of those. But some of the big news, of course, is this week Paragon and Sony released the Paragon Essentials Edition. I'm holding up. You probably can't see it very well because of my light, but I'm holding it up on screen here. So this is the physical copy of the game. I had to purchase it because I love this game. I wanted to support Epic. So if you purchase your Paragon Essentials Edition, you get 6,000 Paragon coins, instant beta access, 5 Hero Master Challenges, 4 hero skins are instantly unlocked, 5 rep boosts. That's 3 wins It's 5 rep boosts, and then I think it's per week, so 3 weeks of it or whatever. And then of course you get the exclusive Wasteland Twin Blast skin, and we do have an exclusive. There is the Wasteland Rampage skin. So I feel like this Wasteland skin is kind of gonna be a theme, but you get that all right away when you unlock that. That's $49, I believe. I don't remember. I just bought it. It may be $59, but it's over $160 of in-game value.
Can you move your mouse?
Could I move? No. Oh,
It's tickling my nose.
Oh yeah. All right, we moved it.
Okay.
So yeah, that came out today. If you guys are interested in picking that up, it will give you instant access to the game. I picked it up just to support Epic and Paragon because it's a game I love.
And get that Twin Blast skin.
And you got to get that Twin Blast skin.
Gotta
It
get
is
that Twin Blast
it is a timed exclusive, guys. So the Twin Blast skin will actually be coming to PC at a later date.
Yes.
So those of you that are like, well, I bought the $100 pack. How come I don't get all of the pretties? Well, you will eventually. Take a breath.
That was a good Cleveland Brown, man.
You like that?
That was a great Cleveland Brown.
So you get all that stuff soon. I'm dying.
Uh-oh.
So the 5 skins included. Check this out. These are the skins that are included. War Chief Grux.
Ooh.
Energized Decker.
Mm.
Autumn Fire Sparrow.
Heller.
And Bronze Warden Riktor.
Boing.
I don't have to buy any of those skins. I was going to buy all of those in game, but now I don't have to because I bought this little bad boy here. Gooch, I know you don't have a PlayStation 4. And
I don't.
But do you think this is something you may pick up in the future to help support the game?
No, because I don't have a PlayStation 4.
All right, well.
Otherwise, I would.
He answered that question. Chat, if you guys are interested, please let us know. I want to know who's picking it up. It's already downloaded on PlayStation 4. I didn't need the physical copy. I just bought it just to support the game.
Yeah.
But other news this week, guys, coming up this weekend, June 9th to Sunday the 12th, it's the first ever Double Reputation.
Bring in the card packs.
Oh! So much rep. Now, this is not multiplicative. That was a word. A lot of people have been saying it's not double rep because technically you're only getting 100% extra. Well, we already get that. So if you add those two together, we're getting 200 additional rep for every game. That's so
200 flat or 200%?
It's 200% additional rep.
That's a lot of card packs.
That's a lot.
Challenger or master.
Yeah.
Master skins, things like that.
Yeah.
For those of you trying to stock up on points, if you have all the cards you want, you can stock up on rep and wait for the new cards to be released. I know that's what a lot of people. That's like a luxury thing. Once you get like all the cards that you want, then you just stockpile them until the next
little wave.
Until the next wave comes out. Yeah. Exactly.
Not
Unfortunately, but we will be missing out on some of that because we will be an event this weekend.
Agora's Rising 5.
One way or the other. Despite my being plagued with internet problems, hashtag tropical storm, hashtag Florida life, hashtag Time Warner. One way or the other, the show must go on, but we will be having Agora's Rising 5. Really excited about that. It's going to be a good time. And there's going to be more on the line than just a prize pool.
Which we'll talk about soon.
Which we'll talk about in episode 11.
11.
That's right.
The Soda 11.
That's right.
So double rep this weekend. Again, guys, very short news week, slow news week, but the big one, of course, was Riktor, Shane. Riktor came out last Tuesday.
This is big, man.
And Epic gave us 7 days. They said, you have 7 days to get to level 10. Those of you who do it will unlock 2,000 rep per. 15 people got to level 10 on Riktor in that 7-day period of time. Our boy Savicus, who got number 1 on Grim, was off by 1 game.
Yep. That's how close it was, man.
To get level 10 on.
That's how close it was.
It's so close.
Unfortunately, Canadian Bacon came in.
Canadian Bacon did it.
Canadian Bacon, delicious Canadian Bacon came in there and said, you know what, I'm going to serve him breakfast. And that's pretty much what happened.
It's not real. It's not American bacon. So it just didn't do a job. Our buddy Briddick, who's
American bacon is
way better. It's way better.
Bacon. I don't think anyone can doubt that.
Right.
Even if you're not
a fan of bacon.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's not a fan of bacon? But our buddy Briddick, who we've had on the show, actually was 13. He was number 13 on the list.
We faced his group a couple times,
and we whooped their butt.
No, we went 1-1. I think.
Stop it.
I think we went 1-1. I'm pretty sure we went 1-1.
I've only lost to Briddick 1 time, and that's because I was carrying other people.
Oh.
But that's
sure that was the case.
That being said, thank you guys to everybody who's participated in that. 30,000 reputation. That's 3 card packs is what we'll be receiving probably today or tomorrow. They've got maintenance tomorrow morning, so we'll probably receive that tomorrow morning. But that's really it for the news this week. There was not a lot going on. We don't know what we'll be getting for our weekly card packs tomorrow.
Yeah, we do.
Nope, not tomorrow. We don't.
I thought it was the Reverberate.
Those were last week's.
I need to get it then because I won't Reverberate.
Yes, you do need to get it because those were last week. So maybe it's already out. I haven't logged into the game at all
I have
today.
to just add Shockwave. Can they just add Shockwave to it? I'm just saying.
They're not going to add
it's
Shockwave.
It's like Shockwave, Barrier Will, and Tempest Pearl all in the same one.
That would be ridiculous.
That would be the way to go. I think that would be the way to go, man.
That is ridiculous. But that's it for news, man. It was a very, very slow news week. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to jump into a character deep dive. This is going to be one of our shortest episodes because of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a character deep dive here. And we're going to talk about the brand newest hero to enter the game, and that was Riktor. Riktor came out last week. Let me pull up his stuff
So
here.
excited about him, man.
So we've had a week to play. While I get this pulled up, tell us your thoughts on this hero. What do you think he does to the meta?
So absolutely, man. So every MOBA or brawler or whatever you guys call these genre of games has a pull hero or a hook hero, right? Every single one. Dota 2 has Pudge. League has Blitz or Brits or whatever his name is.
Blitzcrank or whatever.
Blitzcrank. Heroes has Stitches, and now we have Riktor here in the far more superior than any other MOBA Paragon. So we all knew that eventually I think everyone that has an idea of the progression of heroes being implemented early on into a MOBA, we all knew that a hero like this was going to be tossed in there at some point. I'm actually surprised it came this early. I'm happy that it came this early, but I'm surprised that a hero like this has been thrown in here this early. But so obviously that's exciting. Now you have the hero with the pull, the hook, the scorpion. But what excites me most about this hero isn't necessarily his hook, because again, it's a very familiar style that we've all experienced thus far if we've played any MOBA whatsoever. However, Epic didn't just regurgitate another Stitches or regurgitate another Pudge, right? He hit the rest of his kit. I'm more excited about the rest of his kit than I am about his hook. First, we'll talk about his silence, which is the first silence ability in the game.
Huge.
It's a melee, so obviously that gives you immediate follow-up to anyone you hook. It's your right mouse button and smack them in the face, and they're silenced. I believe level 1 it goes a second and a half, 2 seconds, 2.5. As you level up, I believe.
It's 1.5 to 2.5.
2.5, yes.
Yeah.
So you get awards for leveling it up. Though getting just 1 point in it is a big value point in his right click.
Right.
His E is pretty standard ability. It's decent wave clear. But the big thing about his E that I can't find anywhere other than this, it gives him a speed boost.
See, I know his passive gives you a speed boost.
But his E, if you read his E when you level it up, it gives him a speed boost.
I'll have to pay more attention to that.
If you level up his E, it gives him a speed boost.
So, well, we've got...
And I can't see that mentioned anywhere, if it's just if it's a display bug in the game or anything like that.
Because I know if we go... Let's go over his abilities real quick here. We'll go...
Yeah.
His passive...
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
His passive is Invigorate. Riktor gives nearby friendly heroes a movement speed increase. Ability Whip. Riktor whips his chain in a melee attack. This is left mouse. Shock Therapy. Once activated, Riktor's next whip attack will deal damage. Apply slow and silence his target. This is his right mouse. On his Q is Rip Lash. Riktor shoots his chain out in front of him, pulling in an enemy who is hit while dealing damage.
Yes.
Then he has Electrocute. Riktor electrifies the area around him, causing damage over time to nearby enemies. That's his E ability. And on his R, his ultimate ability is called Skewer. Riktor targets an area in front of him, shooting a web of chains out in front of him that deal damage, stun enemies who are hit. After the stun, Riktor rips the chains out of his enemies, dealing additional damage. So he has got... his affinities are Intellect and Corruption, so he can get some of the greatest cards in the game.
Yep.
He's very, very tanky. He is the recommended roles, what they have him is support. His attack type is melee, and his primary scaling is energy damage. This is a beast of a hero that was introduced. He is a tank, full-on tank hero. I build him, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, but I build him full tank and cooldown reduction. But man, he's come into this game, and with the fact that he can use abilities like Shockwave because he's an intellect hero, he can get some amazing corruption cards and jungle effectively while still being able to plant harvesters. I mean, he's just overall one of my favorite heroes in the game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get him to 10 like I wanted to due to sick kids and myself being sick all weekend. But absolutely outstanding hero, and one that I think come Agora's Rising 5, if he's not banned, we are going to see a lot of in the tank position because everything he does.
Agreed. And I think out of all the tanks, he does his ult does the most damage. It actually can do an absurd amount of damage. I've seen some builds. I won't talk about them because they were told to me in confidence. I've seen some builds where they still build him tanky, but it's a certain build that actually grants him enough damage to where his ult, I think, level 15, his ultimate does a total of about 2,000 to 2,500 damage, which is insane.
Yeah, that's absurd.
That's insane. On top of a shockwave, which more I think, if you have shockwave, you're going to be using it on Riktor, no doubt about that.
There's no reason not to.
He's the best shockwave carrier as far as I'm concerned. I think it's better on him than maybe. I take that back. Gideon is the best shockwave carrier. He's the second best, and then Steel. Anyways,
so let's talk a little bit early game with him, my friend. How are you playing this character early game? I know I play him more of a wave clear early on because his level 1 hook is very, very short. So
very short.
I know me personally, when we start the game, depending on what my team needs, I'm either picking up wards or I'm picking up, because he is corruption, you can get shadow wards for 3 card points, or you can get the Stalker's Key, which gives you the ability to kill jungle minions 50% damage into jungle minions, and also gives you 2 keys for Harvester keys. But I'm always finding myself picking E right off the bat, that the electrocute, so we can get that initial wave clear and we can clear jungle camps a little bit faster.
I agree. I think it all depends as far as what you pick up at level 1 is judging who has the better. So there's always, right now in the current state, I think when the card experience change comes in, this isn't going to happen anymore. But right now, if the game is played, not only competitively sometimes, but all the time in pubs, right? The pub meta, as I like to call it, is you basically 5v5 in the middle lane and you clear a wave and you fall to your jungle.
Right.
If you look at the 5v5, who has the better 1v1 engagement, potential 1v1 engagement in that middle part, because the middle lane is very open. There's potential for you to get pickoffs and stuff like that. So if you have a Muriel and they don't, I take that back. If you basically have more ranged, if you have more harassment than your opponent, let's say your opponent has like 2 warriors and a Feng Mao or something like that, right? Then I would say leveling up your hook is not a bad idea at level 1, because if you land it, they're 100% dead. Right?
At level 1, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you have a team that you just know you don't want to take a fight in the mid lane, you just want to clear that wave as fast as possible, and same with the jungle, clear the jungle as fast as you can, and you're not looking to pick off heroes in the early part of the match, in that jungle phase, the first like 5 to 8 minutes of the game during the jungle,
right?
Then I definitely would suggest getting his E and then leveling up his hook from there, because again, the more you level up his hook, the longer range it gets. And I believe at max level, it's actually further than auto attack. Don't correct. You've been playing him a lot.
It is. It's the distance on it is insane.
Yeah. So, and that's a big deal when you think about pushing and defending against towers. That changes the dynamic of how you have to push towers. You can't sit back and wait and just slowly siege, because eventually a good Riktor is going to land a hook.
Yeah.
It's going to happen eventually, right? Especially at that max range. You can't harass the Riktor, but he can catch you in a hook, sort of thing.
Right.
So yeah, level 1, just take a look at the enemy team. If you're playing with your friends, hey guys, let's do an invade. We're going to invade, or we're going to try to get a pick off in that in the skirmish early on. Then I would say get the hook. Otherwise, get your E and clear out those waves as fast as you can. Level 2 and level 3 come pretty quick after that.
Yeah. So I know the way I've been building him is 5 points in his Riplash, 4 points in his Electrocute, 3 in his Ultimate, 3 in his Melee, and 1 point in Shock Therapy. Now, a lot of people are like, why aren't you putting 3 points into his Shock Therapy? And the reason I don't put 3 points into his Shock Therapy is because, yes, 2.5 seconds is a long time, but in any situation, if I can land a hook, Shock Therapy, Ultimate, that hero is dead.
Yeah, and on top of a shockwave.
On top of if you need to use the shockwave,
depending on the hero, obviously.
Right.
If it's a ranger or someone squishy, the follow up, you're either going to bait to Muriel ult, or you're going to,
right.
The team fight momentum is going to go that way, and an extra second silence most of the time. I mean, as long as your team's following up, you should be able to get that kill.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's depends on the situations. I think there will be situations where putting more points into silence will be good, but with the way his auto attack skills, because he definitely has the strongest auto attack of all the warriors.
Right.
Leveling up his auto attack, I think is a good idea. A very, very good idea.
He's a very strong hero. He's a very strong hero early and late game. I mean, he scales well overall. I mean, early, mid to late game, I just feel like he scales well. Now, I've been building him with Etherweave Mesh, with a Quantum Casing, Shockwave. We're going full resistance We're going cooldown reduction. I want to get that 40% cooldown reduction.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Because it's I feel like it's very strong. It's not about the hooks. It's about the hooks you land. You can miss 5 in a row, but you land that one hook to secure the team.
You miss every hook you don't throw.
Right. It's all about getting those hooks off as quick as you can. So getting that cooldown reduction, making sure you can cast it as much as you can, because you're not going to land 100% of the time.
No one will.
Unless you're chill Phil, because the dude does not miss. I played against him the other day, and he would not miss a damn hook.
For those of you who don't know, Chill Phil is on Triangle Formation, the most winningest team of any team in Paragon thus far. So Chill Phil's
he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. But
exactly.
For me, I feel like cooldown reduction is very important for him. And then building full tankiness. He doesn't have a ton of health. I know he's got a lot of durability.
Yeah,
he's a tank, but I feel like with no escape,
exactly.
it's a trouble with this guy. Like Rampage has an escape, Sev has an escape, and Steel has an escape. With Riktor, you don't have an escape other than shutting your silence and possibly your ultimate. But you really need the follow up from your team, or he will die pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's his biggest drawback as a warrior is that lack of an escape.
Yes.
So you have to play him. Playing Riktor versus playing the other warriors, very, very, very different play style. And I think he's by far the most mechanically demanding of all the warriors, simply because of his hook.
Right.
His ultimate isn't the most difficult to land. I mean, you can kind of what I call split the uprights with it, where you want to get as many people in it as possible.
Right.
Because it's pretty much instant. It has a very short wind-up time. But it's not like a shield slam from a steel or anything like that you can Tempest Pearl walk out or anything like that. It's very, very hard to predict.
Very hard.
Especially if you set it up beforehand with a shockwave.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely the most mechanically demanding. He's the most dependent on having smart positioning. Not only, again, because of his hook and his ultimate, but because if you get caught out, you can make tanky if you want. Early on, if you get caught out, you can die. He's very... You can be deceived and you think you're beating walking into that you can get out with another player, but you can't get with. So your moral mindset with him is to be much different as opposed to a warrior.
Can you guys hear Shane all right? Stream.
Uh-oh.
I'm having some issues. You've turned into a robot on my end.
Oh, that's probably my internet.
So I don't know if they can hear you. I just want to make sure they can hear you okay. Because we dropped from medium quality down to low.
Sure did. Stand by, guys. How's my webcam? My webcam is locked up. Here, let's try remaking the call real quick.
Okay.
Bear back, boys.
Sorry, guys.
Hello there.
Hello, sir.
How are we doing?
We're doing well.
Okay, good. Good. This is what I meant by internet problems, guys. Now you know what I'm talking about.
We're doing well. Okay, you look like you're back. It looks like you're
Yes.
back. So I'm going to need you to repeat everything you just said.
So, what point did you lose me?
Pretty early on in playing him differently.
Okay. Playing Riktor versus playing other warriors is much different because he doesn't have that escape, as you mentioned. So, early on, you have to be very careful about... With other warriors, you can kind of just... You can generally get out of bad engagements because they have an escape mechanism.
Right.
Riktor, you can't. When you're in there, you're in there. You are dedicated. And so early on, that's the biggest thing I've seen with new Riktor players is they just die like 3 or 4 times in the early game because they're used to being able to get out of those engagements in lane. Ones that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get out of. So you have to be your positioning on him has to be much better than any other warrior for 2 reasons. As I just mentioned, because he doesn't have an escape, and if he gets caught out, he does go down. He can be focused down much easier than the other warriors.
Right.
But more so also because you have to rely on the positioning. Your positioning is directly correlated to can you get a good hook off.
Right.
So positioning on him is absolutely paramount, more so than I think more so than any other warrior, and definitely more than a majority of the the hero pool in the game right now.
I would say. I would
say to those new Riktor players, keep it early game. Don't casually walk into engagements that you can't walk out of. You have to be very, very careful about that. Get wards. Make sure you have wards, whether it's on yourself or on your team, before you go into their jungle or anything like that. And as well as always put yourself in a position to where if you are going to land the hook, that it's in a good spot. So that would be the two things I could say when it comes to those just picking up Riktor are those two things right there.
For me, this hero is the hero that combos best with everybody.
Yeah, him and Gideon, him and Steel.
Him and Decker. A hook into a Decker stun or a stun into a hook.
Right?
I mean, the combo, the way this hero combos with other heroes in the game is absolutely fantastic. I know we've been playing him with you and I playing Fang Mao. A hook into a slow from Fang Mao, into an ultimate. I mean, he just combos so well with multiple heroes. I feel like this is the one hero in the game where we've had heroes come in and be like, oh, this hero's going to do some things. Like Grim, for example, came in and Grim just kind of fit. He fit the current mold. He fit the current meta. You just jumped in and played him. Iggy and Scorch came in and people had to adjust their play style a little bit because of how well he split pushes. But for me, this hero comes in and this hero just messes everything up. He throws a wrench into all of it where he's like, yeah, you thought you had an escape. You thought you were going to be able to do this. And he's got a silence and he's got a stun and he's got some of the best cards in the game.
Yes.
We'll
talk about his lore a little bit, just because I think lore is something that Epic is yet to touch on very much.
Right.
They've been very ambiguous. They've given little sound bites about certain lore, but they haven't given any really specifics. With Riktor, they actually gave some specifics about him. They talked about his lore much more than any of the previous hero releases. So the story behind him, you know, he has the number 2 on his head, hence why he has the nickname 2 Chains.
2 Chains?
And because he has 2 chains.
Is that the reason?
He was a prisoner. For what crimes, atrocities did he commit? We don't know, but we know that he was a prisoner of some sort, and he was prisoner number 2. That's what the 2 is
the second most dangerous.
The second most dangerous. Who was the first one? I don't know. We're gonna figure that out maybe.
Gideon.
Gideon doesn't have a 1 on him, and he doesn't look like he was ever in jail.
But Gideon, according to lore, is the most baddest of bad guys.
That doesn't mean he was caught. Generally, the baddest ones are the smartest ones, right?
That's true. That's true.
All right. So we can go to the psychology of the
Let's not do that.
The sociopath, rather. Because Gideon probably falls more into the sociopath. I think Riktor falls more under the serial killer type of thing. Anyways, we digress.
What do you think his safe word is? He's got chains. What do you think his safe word is?
I think it's hold on. I can tell you right now.
Don't Google safe word. Your internet.
I'm not. I think his safe word is going to be no lie, because it's a song by 2 Chainz. Anyways.
No! Mine's always pineapple, by the way. Just a heads up. It's always pineapple.
For those of you, if ever they find yourself in experience. Pineapple. So he's a prisoner. He actually and then after he was a prisoner, he became a prison guard. So somehow he switched from one side to the other. And he was a prisoner guard, and that's kind of the whole thing behind his hook. He would catch people and stuff like that. So that's kind of the lore behind him. So with that being said, I feel like the intellect affinity doesn't match up with his lore. It matches with Gideon because he's like cast spells and can manipulate stuff like that. It works with Gadget because she's like an engineer. I could see it matching with Steel just because Steel seems to have some intellectual prowess with, So I feel like Fury Corruption would have been the way to go on him.
That's what I thought he was going to be.
Or like Order Fury would be pretty cool too. The Order because he's a prison guard, right? Something like that. Or obviously you can't do Order Corruption because they're two completely different things. But I honestly would have liked to see him instead of being intellect. I would have loved to see Fury Corrupt on him on a tank because I think the cards that would have become available to him with being Fury Corruption or Order Fury would have been really, really, really cool.
I feel like Order Fury would have been because there's no real tank cards in the Fury category.
Right.
Intellect and Order seem to have the best tank cards.
In Order, you have Tempest Pearl. You have the Genesis. Dang it! It's escaping me. The name of that card. The energy damage. The damage mitigation card that gives you penetration and cooldown reduction. You have what other cards do we have? You have Quartz Blade, which is like a health plus mana regen plus damage. You have Tempest Pearl, or you have offensive maneuvers. You have I think some cards that have been really, really cool on him. You have Divine Shield, which would be an interesting card on him because again, one of his big drawbacks is he can get if you get caught out and get stunned and stuff like that. So Divine Shield would have been a niche card on him, stuff like that. But either way, I guess just a lot of people didn't want to see yet another intellect hero because of the prowess of
All the heroes released have been corruption.
yeah, have been corruption, and then
So weird.
having a warrior with the kit like that on top of having Shockwave we're gonna see if it's gonna be a little bit overboard or not, but
I think we'll see Shockwave get changed, but that's another.
Yeah,
We're gonna do
another-
a card episode where we talk about what we think are the most powerful cards in the game, because
Yes.
there are some cards that I think everybody needs, and yes, RNG kind of hinders that. But for me, this hero, he scales very well. He does. He
scales definitely the best out of the warriors. He scales as far as damage goes.
If played properly, he has the biggest potential to swing fights in your team's favor. Being able to get a hook and a quick kill, you're already leaving the team at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So for me, name of the game with this guy is tankiness, cooldown reduction. I'm sure there's people out there that play this guy like a bruiser because he does do great damage. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at Agora's 5.
I want to see him played like a bruiser because I think he scales enough to where you could justify that with his silence and hooks. I would love to see you still go one tank item of each damage, right? Like one Aetherweave Mesh into one Quantum Casing, because both of those are such absurdly good tanky items on him.
Yeah.
And then go into some sort of maybe just a little bit of damage, supplemental damage or something. I would absolutely love to see that with a steal on top of it. I think that would be amazing to see competitively. You would have to play him. You would have to rely on your steal for the primary form of initiation because he's the one who can tank very effectively. But I mean, I've been wanting to test out a Bruiser Riktor in coordinated play. Haven't been able to, but I think with the way his damage scales, if you put just maybe two damage items on him and the rest tanky, the way his ultimate scales, the way his hook scales, and everything else, you can get a lot of damage out of that hero.
I've seen some people rocking the Tainted Magic on him.
Yep, absolutely. That's a beautiful example. Early on, Tainted Magic, yeah.
And it's not a card I use. It's in my kit, but it's not a card I use. I feel like my playstyle is just all about the tanky and whatnot.
Right.
But guys, if you have not played him yet, I know a lot of people are worried about Qs. Jump in, give Riktor a try. He's an absolutely...
The Qs are a lot better now.
Yes, he's an absolutely amazing hero. He's really fun to play, and he brings a lot to the table, especially in coordinated play. If you've got buddies, if you're a steel player, give Riktor a try. If you're playing with your friends and you're that guy that plays the warrior/tank class, give this hero a try.
Another great card on him we forgot to mention is the name's escaping me. Hold on. Keep talking.
So guys,
Blood-soaked armor.
how about that?
Blood-soaked armor.
Blood-soaked armor. That's what it
It's
was.
super good on him as well. It gives you physical armor and attack speed. For those of you who don't know, you can activate it, and anyone who attacks you has a bleed applied to them. So it's kind of that on top of like a tainted magic, as well as physical armor, as well as his attack speed. I've seen a couple people running blood-soaked armor to him in a bruiser-esque sort of build.
Right.
And it was really cool to watch. I've watched replays. It was really cool. I actually need to give you those replays so you can watch them. It's really awesome. And another thing, there's other cards that haven't been activated yet that are going to be absurdly good on him as well.
There's a list of cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Nano Drive on him is going to be insane. That's the one that's is going to give you move speed for each allied hero near you to a maximum of 320. Hello? Can you imagine him with that sort of movement speed?
Team.
I mean, it's a relatively long cooldown, but still, it's cast converter could be interesting on him. You consume 100 mana to gain health regen. That probably won't be as strong as him because his mana pool doesn't scale very well. I mean, it's just there's a lot of cool. Once other cards are implemented, there's even more potential for him to see really cool play.
Yeah,
I
I'm excited for Agora Rising 5, and hopefully he gets through the ban phase, and we get to see him.
I think we're absolutely going to see him, man.
Get to see him in that competitive format. But guys, like I said, short episode this week. Not a lot of news. I feel like next week's going to be a way more news. We just covered Riktor. If you guys are interested in that hero, please give him a try. He's a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody that participated in the hero race because now I get to buy 3 card packs.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys very. Britick, I think you're the only one in here, but thank you for the grind, man.
appreciate it. Those of you that are listening to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you're finding us in podcast format, thank you so much for downloading this episode this podcast every week. Please head over there, guys. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. It helps us move up the list.
It really does.
It could be a 2-star, 3-star review, whatever it is. Any sort of feedback, you guys can email us at agorasvoice@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Voices of Agora and on Twitter at Voices of Agora. Shane, I know you've changed all of your wonderful handles.
Sure have, man.
Where can the world of the internet find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/ITG Shane Gucher. Oh my God! Look, I did it.
That's not where you find him. You don't find him at Shane
That's not
Gucher.
where you find me. ITG Shane Lynch at Twitch. As soon as my internet is fixed, I'll be streaming again. Twitch TV /ITG Shane Lynch. I don't have a new YouTube up yet. I'm not too focused about YouTube or anything like that. So yeah, that's it. You know, one more thing. You know what card would be really cool on him? If he was Order? Status Gem.
But he's not Order.
I know, but if he was, Status Gem, you hook someone, you ult, and then you hook someone and you're up. I'm immune to damage. Like, oh man, that would be insane. That'd be so cool. But
In another
he's not
world.
Order.
In another world.
In a world, yes.
Guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for supporting us, listening for those guys in the stream today. And again, give us some great feedback. 5 stars on whichever medium platform you're listening to us from. It really, really helps us out. And we have a very bright future together. And look forward. I think episode 11 is going to have a lot of content to talk about, a lot of stuff to talk about in episode 11. So for those of you who are listening to this episode in the past, go ahead and click that next button to episode 11 because we're going to have a lot of stuff in there for you.
I feel like he's right. We're going to see some major changes, I think, very, very soon to the game. A lot of good stuff coming for Paragon, guys. As for myself, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can find me 6 nights a week, Monday through Saturday, playing Paragon at Another Notch on Twitch. You can find me on YouTube's Another Notch Gaming. You can also find me on Twitter at Notch Plays Games. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show tonight, listening to it in podcast format. We appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, guys, we will see you guys in Agora.